thank you guys for being here. Can you believe it? I feel like he just kicked an 80-yard field goal. All day long, I felt like it was game day, and man, I burst into tears when those numbers dropped. So I just want to thank each and every one of you for being here. Your unwavering support, encouragement, and prayers have helped us to get through this primary race. It was a doozy. We are so humbled and grateful for you all. Some people spend months or years preparing to run for office. This man has spent a lifetime unknowingly preparing to serve. As a professional athlete, he learned discipline, perseverance, teamwork, and the courage to perform when the pressure is greatest. During the past decade as a broadcaster, he developed the ability to communicate clearly, think on his feet, and stand firmly for his convictions. Those experiences shaped a leader who is ready to serve. He is a fighter, a devoted father, grandfather, and a committed citizen who believes public service is about putting others first. His roots run deep in America. His sixth great-grandfather was Roger Sherman, a founding father, and he comes from generations of educators and businessmen who value integrity, hard work, and service. He understands that elected officials answer first to the people they represent. As a man of strong faith, he believes those in government should be servant leaders. He will listen to his CD1 constituents, stand by his principles, and work tirelessly on their behalf. He loves this country, believes in the promise of freedom and opportunity, and is committed to preserving those blessings for future generations of our kids and grandkids who are home in bed. He will stand firmly against policies he believes threaten our constitutional liberties, economic prosperity, and the values that have made America the greatest nation in the world. It is still the greatest nation in the world, and we need to keep it that way. It is my great honor to introduce a proven leader, a principled conservative, a man prepared by a lifetime of experience to serve the people with courage, conviction, and integrity. My husband of 28 years and the love of my life, Jay Feely. Jay Feely. Know where he is.
About time we get down here, right? Oh, thank you guys so much for being here. I just want to start by, this morning Rebecca and I got up, and yeah, have a seat. I'm kind of long-winded at times. Rebecca and I this morning got up and we prayed the same prayer we prayed every day since we announced that we were running for office, and that was to put on God's armor and protection. And we walked through it. And we both had a peace today. And not knowing what the results was going to be, thinking and hoping about what the results, but a peace that God was in control, that we did everything that we could, and that now it was in his control. And that's how we're going to approach the next few months as well. And it's just an honor to be here, to have so many friends and family. I want to start by thanking my family, start by thanking my wife. She is the rock in our family. She is the most beautiful person I know, both inside and outside. And, she's prepared me for this, fighting with her for the last 28 years. And my kids certainly have as well. No, thank you guys all of my family, Abby and Olivia, my two daughters, and Jace, my son, who's worked for the campaign, and Delmont. He doesn't look like me, but he is my son as well. That's right. And then his wife, Alex, and Jace's wife, Talia, and Brady, my son-in-law there. This is about family. It's about friends and family, and it's about doing what's best for this country. And, that's why I decided to get into this race. That's why I decided to get into politics, to leave, a broadcasting job, that only had to work 5 months of the year and had 7 months off. But there are things that are so important that you have to stand up for them, and you have to be willing to fight, and you have to be willing to sacrifice. And that's what politics is supposed to be about. It is supposed to be sacrificial. We need more people in office who are going there not to enrich themselves, to stand up for this country, because it is so precious. And before I get into everything that I want to talk about, I just want to thank so many people, because our campaign. The people that have been working for us, Brian and Brady, have been awesome from day one with me. Taylor, my campaign manager, has been spectacular. Hayden and Elise from the NRCC have been just amazing. And where's all my interns? Can you guys raise your hands? There we go. They have been coming out, volunteering, helping us. In July alone, we knocked on 8,000 doors, and we made 80,000 calls. It's because of all these people here. So thank you guys so much, because it's certainly not just me in any way. It is a community, and it is people that care about their country, that care about their state. I also have to thank President Trump. You know, he and I have been friends for nearly 2 decades. Yeah, he's coming up next. No, he already did come out. I went to the wrong platform when he was out here last time. I got the right one this time. But I just want to thank him for his support, his friendship, his endorsement. We know how important that is, and we know how important it is to stand up for him and the policies that he's trying to impact our country with. Speaker Johnson was awesome to me as well, to support me, to send me verses. You know, it's amazing to see your leaders in this country when they have a real faith and they walk it, you know, and he certainly does. The support of the NRCC, Chairman Hudson, was awesome to me. Tom Emmer has been a friend for a number of years prior. He actually went to high school with my dad and his brothers way in Minnesota. But his support has been tremendous as well. And Richard Hudson with NRCC, everybody, they've had so much support for us in this campaign. And I wouldn't be here without all of them. But why did I decide to run for office? It is a desire to leave this country better for our children and our grandchildren. That's it in its core. You know, what we're doing is fighting for the future of this country. I truly believe that. When you look at the two parties, they've never been further apart ideologically. Never. And the Democrat Party has embraced Democrat socialism. They have chosen to move further to the left. They are talking about abolishing the border. They are talking about abolishing the police department. They are talking about abolishing the Senate now. They want to give D.C. and Puerto Rico statehood. The things that they're talking about are changing the very foundation of this country and what has made it great for 250 years. And we're not going to let it happen. This seat is such an important seat. You know how close the House is. And there's 3 to 5 seats in the country that will determine who holds the House and who controls the House in November. This is one of those seats. It's why I'm really excited to be in this race, because it's consequential. It's going to determine the future of our country. If the Democrats get control, they will impeach President Trump on day one. Every Democrat running for this seat said that in their debate. They didn't talk about what the reality of it was and why they were going to impeach him. They just said, no, we're going to impeach him, because they want to inhibit him in any way possible of what he's trying to do. And when you look at it, Republicans, we are the party of common sense. You know, we're fighting to lower costs. We're fighting to create economic opportunity for everyone. That's what you're supposed to do in office. You're supposed to create the right economic opportunity so that businesses can thrive, so that individuals can thrive, so that young people have hope for a future. You know, and so many young people today don't have a hope for their future. They don't look at the economic opportunities and say, yeah, I can go be a success. But the reality is that they can be a success. That's what's so great about this country. For 250 years, you can come from anywhere with absolutely nothing. And if you work hard and you make good decisions, you can be a success. This man right here is an exact example of that. You know, when he and I met in Haiti, his entire country had gotten destroyed. And he was homeless, and because his home had gotten destroyed. And he was helping me. I went down there. I was working for an amazing group called Mission of Hope. And he was a translator. And the first day I saw him, he walked up to me and he just introduced himself. He's like, "Are you Jay Feely?" I said, "Yeah." And, you know, he had met my brother actually before I went down there. My brother was a teacher, went down on his spring break and encouraged me to go. And I just fell in love with him over the next 2 years or so. And one day Rebecca and I were talking to him. We just said, you know, what are your goals and dreams? And he said, I want to go to the U.S. I want to get a degree, and I want to help my family. And we said, Delmont, we can do that. And we did it. That's right. But we did it legally. We did it the right way. And that's the message that Republicans need to continue to bring home. You can be ardently against illegal immigration, which I am. The border should be completely secure. We should have no one coming across our border without being vetted and doing it legally, but still loving immigrants. And that's the message I'm going to continue to bring home. That's the message that Delmont represents. because he came here, he went to Grand Canyon University, he got a degree, he finished, he met his beautiful wife and got married. That's right. And Alex is a saint because Delmont's a handful. He fit right into our family. And he went back and got his MBA on his own. He got a job, and they loved him because his mentality was, I get to go to work, not I have to go to work. And he is exactly what we want here in this country. Somebody who didn't take any government sustenance, didn't rely on welfare in any way, worked his butt off, did it the right way, and then is rewarded for it. He bought a home with his wife. It was amazing standing on their driveway when they bought a house. And I said, Delmont, think back to the journey that God took you on. Like when I met you, you were homeless in Haiti, going up on a mountain, praying that somehow God would make a way to give you the opportunity to be a success. That is what is so great about this country. This country still provides the opportunity to be a success. That's what we're going to fight for. And I love this country. I know you guys do too. We love living in this country, the opportunities that it provides, the freedoms that it provides. But that is the core difference, I believe, between Republicans and Democrats right now, is that we talk about our love for this country and where we want it to go. The modern Democrat Party, they talk about disdain for this country. They talk about the past and all the ills and all the things that we did wrong. And they don't focus on the opportunities that exist. And what's so great, you go to college campuses and you listen to professors, and the ideology, as I listen and I watch my kids go to college and listen to the ideology that's presented, and they talk about how bad this country is, and they continually talk about slavery and the things that happened in the past, instead of talking about the greatness of this country and where we can go. This campaign is going to be about bringing people together. That's what Charlie Kirk was so good at, and I respected him so much, and our heart was broken, the day that Charlie was killed. And he was killed because he was willing to stand up and talk and communicate. He was willing to talk to people who completely disagreed with him. And that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be able to sit down. Adam, you and I are supposed to be able to sit down and talk to somebody that totally disagrees with us and do it in a respectful manner and in a manner where we listen to them, but we stand up for our beliefs, but we do it where we bring people together. That's what we're going to do as we look forward in this next 3 months in this fight that's coming, and what we're going to try to do. Democrats are going to run on affordability. And if you look at what they did, when you open the border and you let tens of millions of people come across unvetted, and you let violent criminals come across, and you put the protection of American women and children at risk because of politics, that's abhorrent to me. And they should be held accountable every single day. But when you look at affordability, the Fed just came out and talked about 30% of the home cost right now is because of the illegals coming across the border, 25% of rent. When young people look at it and they say, I don't think I can buy a home, and the average home ownership age, first-time home ownership, is 40 years old now. Rebecca and I were like 22 years old when we bought our first home. But those costs have gone up dramatically. When interest rates are above 6%, how does a young person, when the average cost of a home here in Arizona is $450,000, how do they go buy a home? If they don't own something, they're not vested in something. If they don't have ownership, they don't care about it. It's not theirs. And that's what you're seeing. That's what you saw in New York. That's how Mondami got elected. That's how those three members of the Democrat Socialist Party got elected in New York, was because people don't see opportunity. They don't have hope for a future. That's what we're going to do. We're going to stand up. We're going to make the argument about why our policies are better and why people can trust in our policies and why we care about people. We want to bring jobs back to this country. We want to bring those factories back into this country. We want to create an environment here in Arizona where a young person says, I can get a great job, I can buy a home, I can have a family, like I have kids, and that's what all our kids are doing. It was so great to become grandparents. Rebecca, as soon as we became a grandparent, she's like, I'm not going to be a teacher anymore. I'm quitting my job. I'm going to be at home with those grandkids and love on those grandkids. And, they FaceTime her every morning, and they're like, I don't want to talk to you, Papa. I want to talk to Nana. and we love it. But that's what's awesome about this country. And we're going to continue to fight for it. I'm going to be a fierce advocate in Washington, D.C. for lowering housing costs, so that young people in this district have hope for a future. We're going to continue to try to make sure that Arizona is the beacon for the tech industry. When you look at the next generation, when I talk to my kids and I talk to them about where their future is and what's going to happen, whoever wins this AI revolution that's coming, we'll be the world's dominant economy. And we can't allow China to win that revolution that's coming. Whoever wins that economic revolution will control the world's security. We have to make sure that we're creating every opportunity that we can continue to have more energy, so that we continue to bring those jobs not only here to Arizona. We become the chip leader in the country, and we want all those jobs coming here. I'm committed to making sure that we do that, but more importantly, making sure that we win this economic fight with China. And the party that's in control should be the party that's creating the right economic atmosphere so that we can win this, because it will define the world's economy. It will define the world's security. It's going to define this race. And as I close, I just want to say this. Right now, we're $40 trillion in debt, growing at $1 trillion every 100 days. And to be honest with you, neither party's done anything about it. And hardly anybody talks about it. You look at the Democrats, all they talk about are more programs, more spending, all the promises that they make to everyone about what they're going to do and how you don't have to work. And if you have any work requirements, oh, that's horrible. No, that's not how it should be. You should have to work for what you get, and you should promote that. Our job creators, the people that are growing industries, they should be promoted and talked about in a great manner. Look at Elon Musk and what he's done, and how they demonize him. But he has created so much wealth for so many individuals. I loved when SpaceX, when we saw the IPO and you saw all the people that worked for SpaceX, all the way on down the line who made so much money because they were working for this great company. That should be promoted here. And we should talk about it in a great manner and celebrate that instead of demonize that. You're going to see a very stark difference between the two parties when we come to the midterms. And I think as they embrace Democrat socialism, they're going to push away the rest of the country, but in particular this district, because this district cares about the economy. It cares about jobs. It wants an economy that works for everyone. It wants to bring down affordability and work on that, absolutely. It wants to make sure that we have water security, absolutely. But more than anything, it wants to make sure that we're providing hope to young people for their future. That's certainly what I'm committed to. I want to end with this. It was something that I posted today, and this really sums me up in general. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard it, but it's called The Man in the Arena. And I'm going to read it to you. Theodore Roosevelt. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out the strong man's stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again, because there's no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. That is who I am at my core. I have certainly failed a lot in my careers, in my personal life, as a father, as a husband, but we strive to follow God in everything we do. And I whether we won or not, I was confident that we did it the right way. And we were honoring God in the way that we did it, the way that we ran, the way that we communicated. We're going to do that again in the next few months. I need all of you here with me. We need everybody here, because we have to make sure that we have a groundswell of support, not only just here with the Republicans, but independents as well, bringing everybody together. It is so important now that we coalesce together, and we coalesce around hope and around a future that our kids can be proud of. And I am so proud to be standing here before you. I thank you so much for your support. I hope we have a great time. I hope I can talk to everybody. And I just want to say in the end, when we were in church this Sunday, there was something that our pastor said that was just awesome to me. And it really struck home. And I told Rebecca, I said, I'm going to end with that. And he said, you can win arguments or you can change the world. But oftentimes you can't do both. And I am going to change the world, and we're going to change it together. Thank you so much for being here.